I've spent the last 10 years learning Japanese with video games as one of my main ways of studying. Video games are not only fun to learn with, they count as one of the 3 things you need to learn Japanese. In this video, I'll share 4 tools and 4 tips that have helped me make the most significant improvements to my Japanese abilities throughout the years. I'll also throw in a bonus tool at the end, so be sure to check that out too. Learning Japanese with games is pretty simple once you get the hang of it, so let's get right into it. Looking up words and sentences is something we'll be doing a lot, so we need a solid dictionary. Jisho.org is a great dictionary you can put entire sentences into. It's generally good at separating words and picking out conjugations, which makes sentences easier to understand. While Jisho works on mobile, I like to use it on my desktop when looking up a whole sentence. But if I'm looking up a single word quick and don't want to use my computer, I'll usually use Yomiwa on my iPhone. Lots of dictionary apps tend to pull from the same or similar databases. Feel free to pick whichever one you like based on the interface or its features. When looking up words and sentences from games, you need to know how to look up kanji you don't recognize. I go for one of 3 options here. Number 1, radical search. Radicals are sorted by stroke count, so doing this does have a bit of a learning curve, but I do like to use this method, especially for the more complex kanji. Number 2, handwrite the kanji. This also has a bit of a learning curve because the system might have some trouble recognizing what you write if the stroke count is off. I do like to do this for some of the simpler stuff though. Number 3, use Google Translate's camera feature or the OCR on your phone. Just take a picture and grab the text that way. This is generally the fastest and easiest way to grab text because you can get entire sentences in one go. That said, it can struggle with game fonts sometimes, especially if it's a little unique or really pixelated. I recommend copy and pasting that sentence into something like Jisho instead of Google Translate. Dictionaries aren't all that great at explaining grammar. Be sure to reference your learning resources too. I use the search on nativshark, which is a comprehensive learning-focused resource I help work on. It leads me into lessons and relevant sentences with high-quality explanations and high-quality audio. If you're curious about a comprehensive path to proficiency that I study with every day, nativshark is on sale until September 5th. Details in the description. Anyway, if what you're looking for doesn't show up or you don't want to use nativshark, I'd just Google the grammar you don't know or ask for help in a helpful learning community like mine or nativshark's. Links below. If you have trouble understanding something after looking it up, Google Images can be a great way to get a feel for it. For example, irori means sunken fireplace. Okay, what does that mean? Well, Google Images helps clear that up. Google Images is also helpful for comparing 2 similar words. Beru and suzu both mean bell, but a Google image search clears up the difference. After you have a sentence, you can choose to make a flashcard out of it. This can be helpful for vocab or grammar you want to nail down, but it's pretty time consuming. If you don't use nativshark, I might consider making flashcards more strongly depending on your studies and goals, maybe with something like Anki. If you do use nativshark, you can use the custom flashcard feature and make cards there. But honestly, I haven't made cards in years because I know nativshark will show me what I need to see eventually, or I'll just see it so many times in games that I won't need a flashcard for it. So I just use the time I save on seeing more sentences in games and nativshark. Okay, so that was the 4 tools, and now let's get into the 4 tips before we get into that one last bonus tool. Play lots of games, but be sure to keep up with your learning-focused resource. Why? Well, it's easy to tell when we don't know a word, but really hard to tell when we don't know grammar. I'm sure you've also been through knowing all of the words in a sentence, but having no idea what it means. This is most often due to undetected grammar. Quality learning-focused resources teach us about these things hidden in plain sight. Find one that can get you to your goals and stick with it. You'll be glad you did. For me, this is nativshark because it's filled with cultural and grammar lessons and so much more. Not only that, having dedicated learning-focused studies is a great way to stay consistent because, let's face it, we can't all play video games every day. But we can do some sort of minimum we set in a learning-focused resource much more easily. Check out this video on my daily study routine if you're curious to see my minimums and how they might work for you too. Mix up your studies and keep it fun. You can be more active and try to look up things in your studies and understand things as best you can, and maybe make flashcards too. Or you can be more passive in your studies and just read while trying to get what you get and not worry about what you don't. Being more active allows for more learning, for more brain power used, while being more passive allows for more review and generally longer and more enjoyable study sessions. Lots of great ways. Definitely experiment and adjust based on what works best for you. If a game is too tough, don't be afraid to put it down for months or even years. Pick up another game that's a bit easier to understand or one that you know better, and just try to learn what you can without trying to be perfect or get everything 100%. Just aim to understand things a little bit more than the first time you saw them, and then repeat the next day. Okay, one more tip before we get into the bonus tool. Don't go it alone. When in doubt, check out the native materials guide we have available on the nativshark help site, which is free to view and full of detailed explanations on a lot of what I've covered here and much more. And now for the bonus tool. Of course, we need games to study with, right? To help with that, I made a playlist full of recommendations that I will update frequently. It's right here and in the pinned comment below. The videos in the playlist contain important information about region locking, how to get around it if you're outside of Japan, alongside system, console, and game-specific tips. Be sure to check it out. Good luck with your studies!
この番組はフューチャーラーニングメソッドネイティブシャークがお送りしました。